Hello. I'm just waiting for Instagram. Hello, everyone. There we go. We're going live. Here we are. Awesome. Okay. Great. We did it. Welcome. I was really excited to come here today and talk to you about control and how control might be killing your magic. I know that for me, I kind of grew up being trained to control myself, like control your body, control the sound of your voice, like how loud it is, control when you laugh, control. I apparently have like a death glare. So I would glare at people. Hi, Claire. And I was supposed to control that and control it. It's so interesting because I would control my words, so I wouldn't say anything, but apparently people could still tell when I was angry. So I was supposed to control that. Like, how many of us have had upbringings where we were told dynamically how much we needed to control ourselves? As a parent, you might have heard, can't you control your child? I've heard that a million times. I don't control my children. So no, maybe I could if I really wanted to, but I don't control them. And so those of you that maybe don't know me very well, my name is Cassie Summers. I'm an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, which just means I love the tools of Access Consciousness. They're magical. I use them in everything. And one of the tools that we use is something called the clearing statement. And so we will kind of bring up energies and we use this statement. So you say these words, and that statement clears out energy. And so one of the energies I've been looking at over many years, and I'll do this every once in a while, out of control, yeah, Claire, is look at this aspect of control in my life because of having so much entrainment, like I talked about before. It's been this process to take off layers of where I'm controlling myself and trying to control others. And then I revisit it and then I clear off more layers. And the more layers I'm like of this control mechanism, of this addiction to control, the freer I've become and the more creativity and expansion shows up in my life. And the title of this, more magic. So is control killing your magic? How can you really be the magic that you are if you're controlling yourself? Which might seem like the opposite of what we've been told. How many like coming into superpower movies or shows have you watched where there's this time where they are out of control with their powers? I think of like the X-Men shows, right? And the guy with the laser eyes, I'm forgetting his name right now. He's super cute. And so they had to like find a device to control his capacity. People would like go on, like if they had the movie Firestarter, the book, if you like Stephen King, and she couldn't control her powers, so she was just burning everyone up. Like there's this whole thing about magic and controlling our magic, controlling ourselves, controlling our bodies, controlling. But has that ever really gotten you what you were promised? Like, have you really, all the things that you were promised that control was supposed to get you, did it actually get you that? Like, I know, so here's back, my parents controlling like the way I would have a face expression, the volume of my voice, like all this stuff. I still annoyed them just by being there. So did it make them like me more? No. Did it actually make anyone like you more? Like, really, it might have perceived that way, like it might have appeared that way, but is it actually true? Because if someone really likes you for you, don't they like you for all of you, not just a controlled part of you? Frank, hi! Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. It has been a million, thousand, trillion years since I've seen you. We're talking about going out of control. Yeah, not true. Exactly, Claire. It's not true. So here we are buying into this lie of control, and we're trying to control ourselves. And a lot of people try and control others. I'm not as like addicted to that as other people, but I am definitely addicted to controlling myself. And I would like to change that. Hi, Jill. Big hearts to you. So where are you controlling yourself and micromanaging yourself that doesn't allow you to be the chaos of magic you truly are? Everything that is, will you destroy and create it all? Here comes that access consciousness clearing statement I was talking about. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and pod, all 100 shorts, boys, povats, creations, bases, and beyonds. If you want more information on that, please go to theclearingstatement.com. I'm not going to go into it here. It's just magic. It magically clears out energy. How does it work? I don't even care. It works. But you can go there to that website and check out so much more on that. Okay, so I was looking today. So here's this control piece. And then even deeper, I want to look at like micromanagement. Okay. So have you ever been micromanaged, whether it was at a job or maybe there was a parent was like, clean the bathroom, and then they're like standing over you, like micromanaging everything. Maybe you had a partner and you were always walking on eggshells. So you were basically micromanaging yourself to such a degree that there is no space for you to be. Everything that is, everywhere you've been there and done that, and maybe you're still doing it right now in this moment. Will you destroy and create all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, bod, all 100 shorts, boys, pelvis, creations, bases, yes. I get angry at being controlled. Yeah, me too. I get really, really ferocious. But I'll do it to myself all the time. So where are you controlling yourself or micromanaging yourself, but you're not even aware that you're doing it and choosing it? So some people do it with money. So for example, they always, like, whenever their finances start to like rise and go to a certain level, they will create something disastrous. And it always looks like it's outside of them. Like they get fired from their job, or their car breaks down, or their rent doubles out of nowhere. And that is a way that we control ourselves. Insane. I know, but it's true. So there might be places where you allow yourself to be totally wild and free and like out of control and just the joy of being. And then there's other places where maybe you don't. Maybe you're the kind of person like you control your body so dynamically. You control like everything that you eat. I know people like weigh their food, they if they go to a restaurant, they're like, exactly what oils do you use? They're like very, very, like everything is so structured and so controlled, and they have to wear like full makeup before they leave the house, and they like all this stuff, like so controlled with the body. And it could be through aesthetics, but it could be in a different way. It could be through control of sleep or control of other kinds of things, right? Wow, I can sense so many bodies right now, like screaming at me, saying, "Me, they're controlling me." If you are willing, what if you were actually willing to like even just let go of like 2% of the control you have on your body? What would actually occur? So a lot of us believe if I didn't control my body, it would balloon into this huge obese thing, like as if everybody in the world is just trying so hard to be obese. Isn't that strange that we have that point of view? everybody in the world is just desperate to become obese, so I have to control it so it doesn't. Strange, huh? For what reason would your body choose that, if not to communicate to you? If you actually ask your body, hey, body, what would you like to look like? How would you like to show up in the world? What aesthetic would you like to show up with? If you allow yourself to have that conscious conversation, actually get clear on it, it might be even greater than you think that you're possible of achieving. And then here's the next piece. But to get there, you have to give up the control. You would have to be willing to be out of control with your body. And then the money piece, you'd have to be willing to be out of control with your money to have more money than you allow yourself to have more money that is controllable. Renata, I'm starting to create out of control since I found you. I adore you so much. So here, look at this, because finances, it's crazy. It's like the opposite. So I was taught, remember in school, it's like, so you have a budget and this is the amount of money that you have coming in. There's a crazy hair stuck to my hand. It's gone. And then you budget out like exactly like this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. And then you stay within the budget. And then if you're really controlled with your money, then you will grow your money and you will have more money. Okay. So I did this for years. Like I was very controlled with like every penny. You don't even use pennies in Canada anymore, but the smallest amount of currency, I was so controlled with it. But what was interesting is I wasn't going into debt, which was lovely, but I wasn't generating anything beyond. Like I was really stuck at this controlled ceiling. And it wasn't until I started to go out of control with my finances, which does not mean you go into debt. Out of control with your finances doesn't mean all the things that your mind is probably telling you. It doesn't mean like you throw away your money now or you stop paying attention to it. It's not that at all. What if when you're out of control, you're actually more present? Ha ha. Everything's opposite, it appears to be. Yeah. What if when you're out of control, you're actually more present with whatever it is? So if you're out of control with your body, what if you become more present with it? When you're out of control with your bank account, what if that means you actually become more present with it? If you're out of control in your relationship, what if you're actually becoming more present with that relationship? Now, how does that work? When you are in control, you have to cut off your awareness to everything that is outside of that bubble of control. And to control something, it has to be small enough to control, right? So like my bank account would have to be, so I'm a facilitator, like I said before. So my income comes from a few different areas, right? So here's one-on-one sessions, here's live classes, here's online classes. I have a clothing store, and I have I'm book sales. So all this stuff, like all these little streams, right? So if I need to control all of that income, if I need to control it, then how small do I have to make it? Pretty darn small, because those are a lot of little streams and big streams and a mix of streams. So to kind of control it all, I have to have it manageable. Like if you've ever been somewhere like completely chaotic and you try and control the whole thing, it's impossible, but you can find like one section of it and control that one section. So that's what you do, is you diminish your finances so you can control it. You diminish your relationship so you can control it. You diminish your body so you can control it. Out of control, if you go out of control with your finances, so all these things that I have put onto it, my presence actually has to amplify, like it almost like, and this is like the magic piece, right? So my superpower, my capacity for presence has to step up for me to be present with my finances when I'm out of control with them. Everything is the opposite of it appears to be. It's actually so exciting. Kind of like driving a car fast, you know? You get into this muscle memory. You know, like, have you ever driven home and you weren't even really paying attention, but you took the exact route that you always take, right? Um, and you're just driving and the traffic's normal and you're just driving slow. Now, I don't know if you're like me and you kind of like a little bit of speed sometimes. Maybe you're on the highway, and you're going somewhere and you like speed a little bit. Don't tell anyone. To have that, to be that fast, you can't be sleepy. You can't be like just, cruising home. You have to be present. And that is part of what can show up when you go out of control. Your presence actually increases. And if you have more presence with your finances, with your relationship, with your body, with whatever else you're thinking of that you might be controlling, then from there, what is possible? Because it's actually your presence that is going to give it the attention, the energy, and for you to receive the awareness of what is required to expand it. So when you're looking at your finances and you amplify that presence with it, you go out of control with it, then you're going to know, okay, choose this, close this, change this, activate this. You're going to have like this, you become the conductor of the symphony. Because it's not that the conductor is controlling the orchestra, right? You can't really control music. It is that he's conducting where it's going to go and how it's going to flow. So that would be a choice that you could have with every aspect in your life that would pour magic into it. Anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy it and create it, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC and pod, all 100, shorts, boys, pulpits, creation, spaces, beyonds. I want to read a quote to you. This is from Gary Douglas. He is the founder of Access Consciousness, which I mentioned before. If you are in control, then you fit into this reality the way this reality demands it of you. When you are out of control, you get to demand anything you want or anyone you want. That just like turns my body on and gets me all tingling and like hot and flustered. That's what that clearing does for me. Yeah. Being present in chaos is like turning off the control alert. Yeah. Yep, exactly. So when you're being present in chaos, then you have to be out of control. Because when chaos is reigning, control won't work. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, bot, all 100, shorts, boys, pulps, creation, space, beyond. So here's the thing, talking about Leo was saying getting angry at being controlled. Yeah. So if you were in control, then essentially this reality demands of you, like you fit into it, like whatever it is. So if you're in control with finances, then this reality kind of gets to demand of you and decide what your finances are like. If you are in control with your body, same thing. Okay. And then here we are hating being controlled, yet choosing to be controlled. If you're willing to be out of control, then you get to demand anything you want or anyone you want. You demand, you get to choose, you get to have and to create and actualize. It's a very different universe. So why be out of control? Like back in the beginning, I was talking about like micromanaging myself, and I realized I control like the things that I say, which sometimes will shut down my voice. I will control the way like I present my body. I will control, um, um, you know, not having too much money, then it makes people uncomfortable. I would all these places that I realize that I do control. And like I said, every year it as I do these clearings and I work with these out of control clearings, I get a little more free. Get a little more or a lot more free, actually. I shouldn't say a little more because they're so powerful and potent that I access so much more of me and so much more of my magic in all these different areas of my life. So look at any area in your life that is really working and really wonderful. Hi, JC. And so look at an area in your life that is like that. And truth, are you being out of control with it or are you controlling it? And that might be a little bit of a head trip because a lot of us have misidentified and misapplied what out of control is and what in control is. But if you just go to the energy of it, and in access consciousness, we always say, what is true for you will always have a sense of lightness. It's going to have lightness and space. Sometimes it feels like nothing. It's just space and lightness. If there's a lie in it for you, it's going to be heavy and contracted. So when you look at this area in your life that's really working, like maybe money's just like handled for you. You're like, I am a millionaire. I love it. I have all the money. Money just keeps coming in. It's so much fun for me. Then ask, okay, did I create this from chaos or did I create this from control? Maybe your body, maybe you just like, you have so much ease with your body and it's so sexy and delicious and you adore it and you have so much fun with it. Okay, did you create that from chaos or did you create that from control? Yes, a millionaire. Oh, Renata. When I met you, I was in total control with my business and never asked questions to it. My business wants to contribute to me and wasn't able to receive from it. I remember that cool facilitation on that call. It was so beautiful. And actually, thank you for bringing that up because if we're controlling and micromanaging us and our lives, like how much can we actually receive? That was one of my biggest hangups with receiving was me trying to control everything because I thought that was going to keep me safe and keep me from abuse. Woo! Everything that brings up and lets down, let's destroy and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all 100, shorts, boys, bobbins, creations, basics, and beyonds. Anyone joining late, that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you want more information, go to theclearingstatement.com. It's just a set of words that actually just clear out energy. Ooh, I don't feel the difference between chaos and havoc. I think they both feel scary and out of control. Okay, cool. That's a great topic, and it might be a little bit deeper than we can go here. But essentially, havoc is destructive energy, which sometimes is very useful. Like if you saw, let's say someone was about to, these say there was a couple and they're about to fight, and like you're seeing domestic violence. If you instilled havoc to destroy the fight or to destroy the issue, you could actually destroy and diffuse it. Yeah. Chaos is a creative energy and it always expands everything. So these are kind of these two energies. So havoc is a destructive energy, which can be very useful. Sometimes we want to destroy our limitation. Sometimes you want to destroy, something going on in your body, or you need to destroy a really unhealthy relationship. So that's havoc. Chaos is creative and it will always expand. And a lot of them both of those are out of control. Although people use havoc to control. And people can use chaos to try and control, but a lot of people will use havoc at you to control you, but you feel out of control. Yeah. Right, wrong, good, bad, bog, bod, all 100, shorts, boys, bobots, creations, bases, and beyonds. So here we're looking at all these different energies, right? And how they play out in our lives, and looking at, am I really willing to embrace chaos in some areas? But if you look at your life and you look at places, things that are really working for you, how much chaos is there that you haven't acknowledged? A great example, I love artists. Okay. So um, you have like someone making a painting, and they can do it from like, I'm going to trace it and I'm going to try and do it perfect and whatever. And then that creates what it creates. And then you have the artists that are like lost in time. They don't know how long it's taken them. And they could be, the artist could be like creating music, or they could be painting, or they could be molding clay, like however that art is showing up for them. And there's this creative, chaotic energy. And there's, at the end of it, it produces something, but it's not coming from this controlled, micromanaged energy, right? It's like you're in this creative space. And that's something for my business. My business thrives on chaos. So if things get a little bit too routine and too simple, I guess, not simple, but slow. There we go. I asked to instill chaos, and then everything starts moving and money starts coming in, and I start getting like clients that I never even knew about. And it's really, really kind of that thrival energy, that generative, creative, like, whew, energy in my life. So when you start to look at this out of control and control, and really getting clear on those energies, you're going to be able to just utilize that more in your life. So what is that creative energy in your life? When have you been so creative and so chaotic? And maybe you haven't been there since you were like a teenager. You know, when we're teenagers, we rebel the order. We step into, not everyone, but a lot of us kind of let go of some of those controls, and we allow ourselves to be brave, and we allow ourselves to kind of dance with, you know, the beat of summer, of possibility, of whatever is pulling you into something greater. And then we become adults, and then we're like, no, we must do order, we must structure this, and we must do this in this very particular way. And when have you had more joy? When have you had more freedom? At what time have you had more creative things show up, and things that show up as if by magic? How can something show up as if by magic, which is completely unpredictable, which is completely unexpected, if you are controlling everything to like the micromanagement of? It can't. So this is the gift of being out of control. Now, if you want to play more with this with me, I would love to invite you to a marathon I'm doing. So let me explain what a marathon is. So it's when you take a few clearings, and I have two. I'm maybe a third one. I'm playing with it. I'm not sure, but there's two really, really amazing clearings from Access Consciousness, Dr. Dean here and Gary Douglas. And what we do is we run that clearing over and over and over and over again. I usually start the marathons with like a little bit of a hi, la, 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 and I'll talk about like whatever's up that day, kind of what I was just doing here with you. So I'm kind of tapping into all your guys' universes and pulling out things, and I'm speaking to the energies of it. And you can engage in the chat, just like Leah, where she was talking about the difference between havoc and chaos. And then we could go on a little chat about that and explore it together. And then we run the processes. And so what the gift of running those processes, the clearing statement, and having these out of control processes, is that it's changing it on an energetic level. Because it's one thing to be like, okay, cool, I'm just going to choose out of control with my money. And then you go to use your bank card, and all of the stuff is still there. Like all of the control is actually still there. And you're like, well, how do I change this? And you can try and use psychology, and you can try and talk yourself out of it. And you can try and do all this stuff. Or you could actually just clear the energy of it that gives you this space to choose. And there might be times where it's really light to be out of control. And there might be times where it's light to not be out of control. But unless you clear out that energy, you never get to have choice. You're stuck in this reality choosing for you. You are being controlled by the control. And that's the same thing with your body. Sometimes it's like, maybe you really love weighing your food. Like maybe that actually creates so much for your body and your body loves it. And then there's times where maybe there's an afternoon and your body's like, it's going to create so much more if we go out of control, but you don't have that choice if you're stuck in this structure. So we run these clearings. We have like a little riff off. We run these clearings, and it's so incredible what can show up for people, because it's on such a deep energetic shift transformational level. You cannot predict it, which is so fun. It's so out of control. And we're going to do it for 7 days straight. 7 days straight. And I'm going to just tell you the price right now, because some of you might be wondering. It's literally $7, because that's what consciousness said. $7 for 7 days. So you're going to be live with me. We're going to jump on Zoom. We're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to run the clearing. I have at least two clearing around being out of control. We'll run them together. And then at the end of those 7 days, we're going to clip all of those together. So you have a loop that you can play. It will be a 10-hour loop. So you can play it while you're sleeping. And again, we're going into the subconscious. We're going into the deeper layers and deeper layers and deeper layers and deeper layers, clearing out all the stuff that is keeping you, that is controlling you out of your magic, that is controlling you out of your brilliance, that is controlling you out of possibility, that is controlling you out of joy and ease and all those things. It's like, yay! And just keeping you into this little box, this micromanaged, vice cage, if you will. And so we clear. And then I have one more bonus, because it's just insane. And it was super light. So we're going to do this clearing for 7 days. And then I'm going to give it some space. And then we're all going to jump on together on Zoom again. And I'm going to do an SOP session. So SOP is a symphony of possibility. It's an energetic technique that I love so much. And it changes stuff in such a dynamic way too. And we'll do a symphony of possibility group taster session on being out of control, to really like expand you into that yummy space of the joy of being out of control rather than the fear of being out of control. All of that for $7. $7. And we have languages. And I'll say that because we're going to get this translated. But if you know someone in another language, we have Turkish, Portuguese, Spanish, and French, baby. All those languages are available. We'll be live translating. And so you could totally be a part of this. And I would love to have you there. I'd love to go out of control with you. I'd love to see what is possible in a world where we're not controlling each other and we're not controlling ourselves. And we have the freedom to really choose and to explore and to enjoy our freaking lives beyond these cages. So yeah, if you'd like to join me, come on, let's go play. Thank you everyone for being here live with me. I was so grateful for your energies and this back and forth engagement. It was so beautiful. So we got links in the description. We got links in the chat here. Find your links. Join us if you'd like to. And I'll see you guys around sometime. Bye for now.